All right, Reddit, buckle up. You know me, Gideon, your friendly neighborhood storyteller. I usually spin tales of gripping suspense or heartwarming triumphs, but today, we're diving into the deliciously frustrating world of an I don't work here lady incident that left me questioning humanity and my choice of hamburger buns. I'm a cop, 32, and most days I love my job. But after a particularly grueling 12-hour shift, you know, the kind where you've dealt with everything from a stolen garden gnome to a full-blown domestic dispute involving a very angry parrot, all I wanted was my damn cookout. My annual survival of the fittest backyard barbecue, really, where friends and family gather to grill, chill, and pretend my terrible jokes are funny. I'd been planning it for weeks, meticulously crafting a menu that involved more than just charring meat, and my shopping list was a work of art. So there I was, still in my civvies, a worn-out t-shirt and cargo shorts, pushing a cart through the notoriously chaotic produce section of Grandma Sally's Groceries, a place I usually avoid like a perp with a bad temper. My mission, artisanal hot dog buns and the perfect brioche for the burgers. I was deep in thought, practically meditating on the merits of Sourdough V's potato rolls, when a voice, sharp enough to cut glass, sliced through my zen. "Excuse me, you." I blinked, momentarily disoriented. I was leaning against a display of organic kale, so maybe she thought I was part of the furniture. I turned to see a woman in her late 40s, decked out in a crisp, expensive-looking power suit, her face a mask of impatient demand. Her cart was overflowing with fancy cheeses and organic, grass-fed whatever it was. She looked like she owned the place, not just shopped there. "Yes," I asked, a little too politely, probably still in customer service mode from work. She gestured vaguely towards a shelf of prepackaged salads. "I need the kale Caesar kit. It's supposed to be right here, but clearly, someone's messed up the display. Can you grab me one from the back?" Her tone was less a request, more a royal decree. I raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, I don't actually work here. I'm just shopping." A faint, dismissive huff escaped her. "Oh, please, you're standing right next to the display. Just go get it. I'm in a terrible hurry and I don't have time for games." She tapped an impeccably manicured nail on the edge of her cart. "All right, Gideon, deep breaths. Look, I really don't work here. I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts. Do I look like an employee?" She narrowed her eyes, surveying my casual attire with a sneer that suggested my clothes were an insult to her very existence. "Well, you certainly look like you could be doing something useful instead of just loitering around blocking the aisle." "Fine, if you're so useless, just tell me where the artisanal hot dog buns are. The good ones, not that mass-produced garbage." Now, this was a specific request, and honestly, I was headed there myself. A tiny, perverse part of me wanted to send her on a wild goose chase. But my inner cop, the one who genuinely tries to help people, even when they're insufferable, kicked in. "They're usually in the bakery section near the specialty breads," I said, pointing towards the back of the store. She gave a curt nod, grumbled HMPH, "Took you long enough," and bustled off, her expensive heels clicking a furious rhythm against the linoleum. I just shook my head thinking that's my one good deed for the day, I guess. I finally found my brioche buns, feeling a small victory, and was making my way towards the checkout when I heard it again. "Excuse me, you again." I sighed, not her again. She was standing at the end of an aisle, her face even more flushed, her fancy suit slightly askew. Her cart, I noticed, now also contained a significant amount of ground beef and gourmet sausages. "You said the artisanal buns were in the bakery," she huffed, crossing her arms. "They're not. They have croissants and sourdough, but no artisanal hot dog buns. What kind of incompetent employee are you?" My patience, already thin from my shift, was fraying. "Ma'am, for the third time, I don't work here," and I said usually near the specialty breads. "Sometimes they're in a cooler display. Did you check there?" She scoffed. "Why should I have to check? That's your job. You clearly have no idea what you're doing." "I need those buns for my charity gala tomorrow, and if they're not perfect, it'll reflect badly on me." "Now go find them for me, or I'm speaking to your manager." She pointed a finger at me, practically poking me in the chest. That was it. The red mist descended. My internal monologue, usually a calm, logical discourse, devolved into a siren blare of "oh, hell no." "All right, lady," I said, my voice dropping to a low, even tone that usually gets attention on the street. Let's be very clear. I do not work here. I leaned in slightly. And you know what? Since you're so concerned about me loitering and being incompetent, let me show you exactly what I do for a living when I'm not trying to buy hamburger buns for my cookout. With a deliberately slow movement, I pulled my wallet from my pocket, opened it, and flashed my badge. The silver shield, reflecting the harsh fluorescent lights of Grandma Sally's, seemed to gleam with a righteous indignation matching my own. Her eyes, which had been blazing with self-importance, went wide. Her jaw went slack. The color drained from her face. I'm Officer Gideon Vance, I continued, my voice still dangerously calm. And unless you're committing a crime or you need to file a report, I'm just another customer. You've been rude, condescending, and frankly, you've wasted enough of my time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to finish my shopping, and you can try to find your precious buns yourself. I watched, a grim satisfaction blooming in my chest, as she sputtered, utterly speechless for the first time. She looked around frantically, as if expecting the grocery store manager to materialize and protect her from the mere presence of law enforcement. Her expensive suit suddenly seemed to sag, her imperious posture collapsing into something deflated and bewildered. I didn't wait for her to recover. I just turned my back, pushed my cart past her stunned form, and headed straight for the self-checkout, a ghost of a smile playing on my lips. Those brioche buns were going to taste extra good at that cookout, and for the first time all day, I actually felt like celebrating.
If you've made it this far, you've clearly got great taste in internet drama. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more wild stories like these. All right, on to the next one.
You know those days, the ones that start with sunshine and optimism, where you just know it's going to be a good one? That was me. Tuesday morning, bright and early, I was practically buzzing. My name's Aubrey and I work at a childcare center. My mission for the day, a super simple pickup of 2 of our kiddos from a nearby elementary school. Easy peasy, right? I even had my favorite, Daycare Hero, smile plastered on, ready to charm my way through the school gates and collect my little charges. I strutted into that school, feeling like a seasoned pro name tag gleaming, clipboard in hand, genuinely excited to see the kids. But then, as I was waiting for the first child to be dismissed, a storm front rolled in, shaped like a man in an ill-fitting polo shirt. Let's call him Mr. Entitlement, or for the sake of true Reddit authenticity, Male Karen. He spotted me, clipboard, name tag and all, and his eyes narrowed. "Excuse me," he barked, not asked. "Who are you, and why are you just standing here waiting? My child is in there. I've been waiting for ages." I blinked, genuinely confused. I hadn't even done anything yet. "Oh, hi," I said, my Daycare Hero smile faltering slightly. "I'm Aubrey from Childcare Center name. I'm here to pick up 2 of our kids." That's when the real show began. Male Karen's face contorted. "From the Childcare Center, so what, you just get to waltz in here and cut the line? You get special treatment because you're, what, an employee? Is your kid in there? Are you just picking up your own kid first, showing blatant favoritism?" I tried to explain. "Sir, no, I don't work at this school. I'm from an outside childcare center. We're authorized to pick up kid 1 and kid 2. I held up my clipboard, which clearly had the school's authorized pickup form. But he wasn't listening. He just got louder, practically vibrating with indignation. "Oh, so now you're playing the outside agency card, are you? That just proves it. You think you're above us regular parents, don't you? Waving your little badge around, thinking you're all special. My child never gets picked first. This is ridiculous. I'm going to report you." The poor kids, who had just come out and were looking forward to going back to the center, froze. Their wide eyes darted between me and this screaming man. My Daycare Hero smile was long gone, replaced by a strained look of please, for the love of all that is holy, just stop. Just then, a school staff member, a kind woman I recognized, hurried over. "Mr. Peterson," she said, her voice calm but firm, "is everything all right?" Male Karen pivoted, pointing an accusatory finger at me. "No, Ms. Jenkins, it is not all right. This woman, she's from some child care center, saying she's picking up kids, but she won't tell me why she gets special priority. It's favoritism, plain and simple. She's probably friends with the principal." Ms. Jenkins stepped between us, shielding the kids a bit. "Mr. Peterson, Aubrey is from ABC Childcare. She's on the approved pickup list for these children. This is a standard procedure. Standard procedure, my foot, he roared, completely dismissing the actual school employee. You're all in on it, aren't you? A little favoritism club. I pay my taxes for this school. My kid deserves fair treatment. He just kept going, a red-faced, bellowing whirlwind of misplaced rage. He followed us, practically dogging my heels, all the way out of the school and into the parking lot. His voice, a constant stream of angry accusations about special treatment and school cronies, seemed to echo off the walls. The kids, bless their hearts, just huddled close to me, holding my hands tight. As soon as we were safely in the car, buckled up and doors locked, I let out a long, shaky breath. I cranked the radio to some upbeat kid-friendly tunes, hoping to drown out the lingering echoes of male Karen's fury. The kids, still a little wide-eyed, just leaned back, clearly relieved. We took a collective deep breath, shaking off the weird, hostile energy he'd left behind. It was a wild one, that's for sure. A classic, I don't work here, you raging lunatic, and even if I did, what are you even talking about? Kind of story. You know, the kind that makes you wonder what planet some people are living on. So yeah, just another Tuesday in the wonderful world of childcare. Never a dull moment, I tell ya.
There's nothing quite like the peaceful hum of a salon on a lazy afternoon, the gentle snip of scissors, the quiet murmur of conversations, the faint scent of hair products. It's my little slice of tranquility. I was deep into my gossip magazine, enjoying the rhythmic pull as my stylist, Chloe, expertly foiled my highlights when the salon doors burst open with a dramatic flourish. A woman, a walking stereotype in a too-tight tracksuit and a scowl that could curdle milk, practically materialized in the entryway. Let's call her Karen because, well, she just was. She bypassed the front desk entirely and marched straight towards the open chairs. I need a haircut now, she announced, her voice cutting through the pleasant atmosphere like a chainsaw. Chloe, bless her patient soul, just raised an eyebrow from behind me. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't actually work the front desk, she said, her tone as smooth as silk. And it looks like all our stylists are currently with clients. Or have appointments booked. Karen didn't even glance at Chloe. Her laser focus was on the young woman at the front desk who was already starting to look a little deer in headlights. I don't need an appointment. I just need a haircut, Karen declared, striding past a visibly uncomfortable client waiting for her turn and plopping herself down in the next available chair. It was a client chair, mind you, not a styling station. Ma'am, you do need an appointment, the front desk employee, Emily, stammered, clearly trying to maintain her composure. And all our stylists are busy. We could try to fit you in later this week. Karen scoffed, waving a dismissive hand. Later this week, don't be ridiculous. I'm an employee here. I just need a haircut. I nearly choked on my imaginary tea. An employee, she just walked in off the street. I shot a quick glance at Chloe, whose eyes were now wide with an amused, incredulous horror. Chloe finished up my foils and I made my way to the shampoo bowl, trying not to stare too obviously. From my vantage point, I could see Karen still arguing with poor Emily, who was now openly bewildered. No, ma'am, you're not on our staff roster. Are you sure you're in the right salon? Karen ignored her, then turned her head and spotted me in the mirror as Chloe started rinsing my hair. Her eyes narrowed. Hey, you come back and do my hair, she barked, pointing a finger directly at me. I froze, shampoo suds dripping onto my shoulders. Excuse me, I managed, feeling my blood pressure start to tick up. You were just doing that other woman's hair, weren't you? She insisted, her voice rising. Get over here and do mine. I'm an employee, I just need a quick trim. Karen, I said, my voice carefully even, I don't work here. I'm a client just like you. Chloe's my stylist. I gestured to Chloe, who was now barely suppressing a giggle. Karen glared at me, then at Chloe, as if we were both conspiring against her. She huffed, then did something truly bizarre. She spotted an unused stylist's apron hanging by a station, marched over, grabbed it, and clumsily tied it around her own waist. Then she sat back down in the client chair, arms crossed, a smug, self-satisfied look on her face. See, I'm an employee, she announced triumphantly to Emily. Now I need a haircut, and since I'm an employee, it's free, right? At this point, Chloe had finished rinsing my hair and led me back to her station. She'd watched the apron stunt unfold, her expression a mix of disbelief and growing annoyance. "Karen," she said, her voice now firm, "you are not an employee here. We've never seen you before." "What, of course I am," Karen retorted, puffing out her chest. "I just work in a different department. I'm here for my employee perk." Chloe put down her comb with a sharp clack. "No, Karen, you're not an employee. You don't have a staff ID, you're not in our system, and you're making our actual paying clients incredibly uncomfortable. You're just a woman who's decided she's entitled to a free haircut." Karen's face turned a rather alarming shade of puce. "I am not entitled, I am an employee, I just need a haircut." I watched this train wreck unfold, feeling a strange mix of second-hand embarrassment and grudging admiration for Chloe's patience. My hair was now done, perfectly styled, and all I wanted was to pay and escape this surreal nightmare. Emily was on the phone, likely with security or management. "Look, Karen," I finally interjected, unable to hold back anymore. "This is getting ridiculous. You're not an employee. You put on an apron you stole from the wall. Just leave." She whipped her head towards me, eyes blazing. "You stay out of this. I'm an employee and I'm waiting for my haircut." She continued to argue with Chloe and a now exasperated Emily, who had gotten off the phone and was making her way around the front desk looking determined. The air in the salon was thick with tension. It was clear Karen wasn't giving up. She was going to fight for this imaginary employee discount until the bitter end. Just then, a burly security guard walked in, followed by the salon manager, a no-nonsense woman with a tight bun. One look at Karen, still in her ill-fitting apron, loudly proclaiming her employee status, and they knew exactly what was happening. In the end, Karen was escorted out, still yelling about her employee rights and the injustice of it all. As the door swung shut behind her, a collective sigh of relief rippled through the salon. I paid quickly, exchanging a weary but knowing glance with Chloe and Emily. "Good riddance," Chloe muttered, shaking her head. "Some people, I swear." I just smiled, shaking my head too. It was a cautionary tale, really. A reminder that some Karens aren't just demanding, they're operating on an entirely different plane of reality, where delusion is their most potent weapon for a freebie. And honestly, for a moment, it made my peaceful afternoon highlight session feel like an absolute wild ride.
Got time for one more. This next video is worth it.